Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to be unboxing the brand new Ninja Creami Swirl. It's actually called the Ninja Swirl by Creami, but that sounds stupid, so I'm not going to say it that way. How different is this from the regular Ninja Creamis? Watch this video and find out. So you ready? Let's get into this. This is the Ninja Creami Swirl. On first look, you can see the machine looks a lot different. In fact, if I just put my arm over this right here, then you look pretty much like the old Ninja Creami, except you got this slot machine handle on the side here. The main difference with this machine and the older Creamis is that this now has the ability to serve out soft serve ice cream. However, it's not really quite as simple as that. You are still processing your ice cream like you did in the Creamis before. It's just that now you have the option to take this, stick it up here once you get done, and turn it into soft serve ice cream like that. How well that works is something that we're going to have to find out. The whole process I just mentioned is laid out right here. First you mix your ice cream and freeze it, then you spin it, then you load it up top if you're going to do soft serve, otherwise that's the last step, and then the aforementioned slot machine reference that I made before. Another nice bonus is that the machine comes with 2 pint containers. However, if you plan on getting one of these, I would recommend that you get at least 2 more of these. Trust me, if it takes 24 hours to prep your ice cream, you're going to want a few of these sitting in your freezer at all times. Ninja boasts 13 different frozen treat programs, but that's a little bit misleading because really it's the same programs, but you have the option to do soft serve or scoop ice cream with all of them. Well, most of them anyway. Down here you got some examples of some different stuff. There's frozen yogurt, both swirled and scooped. Same with the light ice cream, sorbets, gelatos, and the new Creami Fit setting. Speaking of Creami Fit, we have a whole panel on the box talking about that. The Creami Fit setting is aimed squarely at people that like to come online and watch videos about protein ice cream. If you've watched my channel, for instance, for any amount of time and seen any of my ice cream videos, you know that I like to use a lot of protein powders to bring up the protein content and lower the carbohydrates. So I just like to take 1 second to say, "You're welcome, Ninja. Where's my check?" Hey look, join the Creami craze on TikTok. I bet that's gonna age perfectly fine. Alright, on the other side of the box you can see all the parts. We've got the soft serve handle right here with an action photo, a list of the different programs for the machine. Right here you can see the pint containers that come with the machine. This one is hard to see because it's inside of the bowl. And this one you're actually looking at the very bottom of it. We'll take a closer look at that later. Next you got your outer bowl and your lid, and then you got a drip tray down at the bottom for use with the swirl function. The only part that you can't see on the diagram is the creamerizer paddle right there and the shaft. Alright, let's get this thing open. I'm actually kind of excited about this. I knew this machine was coming for a little while, so I've been waiting pretty anxiously for it. Hopefully it doesn't disappoint. And hopefully I don't knock my tripod over here because it's precariously on here right now. You got some information about Ninja and their social media over here, and they do have a separate website other than the Ninja Kitchen website that just specializes in the Creami. Okay, what do we got? This is the drip tray. All shiny plastic black fingerprint inducing plastic right here. That's always a good thing, right? And on the back, we've got a hex-clad rip-off pattern. And in case you didn't realize that this is your drip tray, it tells you right here that this is your drip tray. Okay. Next we have our booklets. Let's take a look here. This is usually one of my favorite parts. Okay, we got a quick start guide right here. That's for people like me that are too lazy to actually read the manual. Goes through all the settings, how to put the machine together, and how to use the buttons in a very basic fashion. Don't let that intimidate you though, because this machine is super simple to use. At least the other ones were. Here is the actual owner's guide, all in black and white. So not as fun, but a lot more information. It's got your warranty information in here, troubleshooting guide, more detailed instructions on how to use the machine, cleaning information, you know, all that fun stuff. This is that book that you read one time and then you lose. So I'd recommend not losing that. Just stick it in the drawer someplace. Don't throw it like I do, because that's going to end up someplace where you can't find. Even though I just did it anyway. And then right here we have the Ninja Swirl by Creami recipe book. This has got a lot of pages of stuff in here. And this is one of the things I really like about Ninja. Yeah, I know you can get stuff online and probably you can get all these on the Ninja website as well. But I like having these paper books. I'm kind of old school that way. This gives you some guides on how to make certain things using different types of sweeteners and stuff like that. Then you get into the back part and you get a better rundown along with color pictures of how to make very specific things. The photography they use in their books is usually really, really good. This really is appreciated. If you get one of these machines, don't throw this book away. It really is fun to try to make some of the stuff in here. Anyway, enough of that. And we'll pull this up. We got a box right here. This is probably our Creami pints. Oh, excuse me, our swirl pints. Swirl pint number 1, swirl pint number 2, and then this thing right here is probably the dispenser cover. We'll take a look at this thing first. This part has to do with the big update on these machines. This won't exist on any of the older Ninja Creami machines. I'll show you how to use this a little bit later in the video. Okay, it looks like everything else is gonna come out in one shot. This is very high up in the air right now though. And here we go. This thing is pretty huge. Just looking at this on camera, you can't really tell how large it actually is. So just for reference, here is a Ninja Creami Deluxe. Set it right next to it here. So this is almost like having two Ninja Creamis next to each other. Pretty damn big, actually. And the one that I just set there is the Deluxe, so that's actually the big one. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you is these Creami pints. Let's take this out of the package here, because these are way, way, way different. The old Creami pints are a lot different than this. They're basically just this plastic shell. Actually, you know what? Let me show you one. This is a Creami pint from the Ninja Creami Deluxe, and this is the one from the Swirl. They've gone back down to a 2-cup container instead of the 3-cup that you get on the Deluxe.
You serious?
So right off the bat, that kind of annoys me just a little bit. But other than that, if you look at this cup, it's got a silicone lid that goes on the top, and that's pretty much it. You put your liquid in there, you freeze it on a level surface, and once it's done, then you put it back in your machine and you process it. Real simple. On these new pints, everything's a little bit different. Starting from the lid, this is now more of a hard plastic lid instead of the silicone. If you look at the writing on the top here, it did say this on the Deluxe lids too, but I never noticed it before. And really, Ninja would be better served if they did this in a way where you can see this better, because it says right on there, do not process if ingredients are frozen at an angle. That means if this is sitting cockeyed like that and it freezes like this, you can't process it because it's going to break your machine. I've mentioned that to people before and they didn't seem to mind having a bump in the middle of your frozen stuff or having it off on an angle. And that's one of the main reasons people get plastic shavings into their ice cream. The rod comes down, gets pushed sideways because this is all off kilter, and it pushes that blade into the side. Sounds pretty scary, but if you just freeze everything on a level surface, you'll be perfectly fine. Just so you know, I've been using these things for several years now, and I've never once had that happen to me. Other than this plastic lid, if we look at the Creami, we got similar plastic construction. We got all these nubs up here at the top to where it's going to be able to connect into the machine here, which I'll show you how that works in just a moment. You've got this guy right here, which is actually a soft serve ice cream dispenser because it sits on the machine this way. So this is where the ice cream comes out when you're doing soft serve. You may be thinking, well, isn't that just gonna come out of there all the time? And the answer is no, because we got this cool bottom on the thing here. You can see where it says closed and open. If I turn the bottom to the open position, it pulls this entire section away. And if you look inside the cup, you might notice that when I'm turning this left and right, it's actually dropping that center piece down. So right here, that's closed and that's all sealed off. That's actually a rubber piece down in the bottom, by the way. And then turning this back to the right again, we'll push that rubber piece back and you can see the channel at the bottom to where it flows down this way. Pretty ingenious. Not sure how well that rubber piece is going to stand up to use, because I'd imagine if that starts getting worn out, then you're going to have leaks. Right here you got your max fill line again, which means when you have liquid in here, don't fill it beyond that before you try to freeze it. Otherwise you can break your machine or you'll end up making a big mess. Now let's get back to that other part again. This is only used if you're going to be making soft serve ice cream. And what that is after you take your ice cream out of the freezer and you process it in here, then you would take this lid, put it onto the top right here. I should probably take this off. And then you can see where this goes onto there. Once you've got that together, then you can put this right onto your machine, turn it, and lock it into place just like this. Once you've got that locked into place, then you turn this to open that up, and then you're ready to dispense with your slot machine arm right here. It's actually a pretty neat design, and this entire section actually gets pushed forward. Like this piece right here is going to connect onto here, just like you get with your Creami paddle when you're making your ice cream coming down. And it's basically just pushing the insides of this forward and squeezing everything out of this. I don't know. I like that design. I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully it works as good as it looks. On the other side of the machine, you get a better look at the soft serve handle right here and the Creami pint down here at the bottom. I will unlock this so we can take a better look at that. It looks like the design of this outer bowl has gone back to the original design from the original Ninja Creami. Same spring-loaded design, same little rubber seal up here at the top, and the same bizarre design choice in here that everybody complained about because they were able to get ice cream and stuff up in here. If you're taking a quick look at this, you'll see that it's just as hard to clean as the original one was. So that's a little bit disappointing. I was kind of hoping they would have updated that a little bit, and they've actually not done a damn thing with it at all. Might be slightly different, but not much. There is our Creamify paddle. Looks like about the same design as the other one. Might be a tiny bit smaller, but I'm used to using the Deluxe too, and the Deluxe has a bigger one. The way this works is you just pull this release over here and hold it, and then I can drop the paddle right in here and let go of the lever that I'm holding onto, and it holds it in there. That's just temporary because you got a rod up in the machine that's going to come down and push this down. And once it engages it, it'll stay on and it'll park it back up here when it's done. The landing pad down here looks like the exact landing pad from the Ninja Creami Deluxe. So at least they didn't go back to the original design of this. That was actually pretty bad, and the one on the Deluxe I've been pretty happy with. Looks like they made a couple of extra adjustments to it to make it a little bit more stable. So when this is locked into place, it doesn't move quite as much. You can see that the inside of this is shaped a little bit differently, and that's because this entire pint has to fit in there along with this nozzle on the front. So really when you have your frozen ice cream in here, this just slips in just like that. The lid goes on like this, snaps into place. That's actually a nice connection. It's really solid now. Before, the thing used to shake around in there. This goes in here and locks into place. And yeah, if this thing is gonna stay this way, that's pretty good. It's a lot more solid than it was before. Just to give you some better measurements on this machine, and if you're short on space, you're probably going to want that. The bottom to the top is 17.5 inches, almost exactly on the nose. The width of the machine taken from the edge of the handle here all the way over to the other side of the machine is about 12.75 inches. Almost 13, in fact, let's just call it 13 inches anyway. And then from the back of the machine to the front, exactly 8 inches. Now that's the back of the machine to the front on the base, but this thing sticks out super far. So if we go back of the machine to the front of this thing, then we're talking 12.5 inches. So she does stick out, that's for sure. Oh, and by the way, this is where the drip tray goes right here. Okay, let's take a look at some of these features. When you turn this on, you're going to see that the soft serve and the scoop buttons are both blinking. If you plan on making soft serve ice cream, even though you have to process it over here on the right first, you still have to use the soft serve settings because it does give you different rotational speeds and times and all sorts of other stuff. But if you're only planning to use scoop ice cream, then you would just use your scoop presets and you'd be all good, and you would never use this side of the machine at all. In fact, if you're not a fan of soft serve ice cream at all, I would say that the Swirl Swirl is probably a little bit of a waste of money for you, because the entire reason you're spending the extra money on this machine is because you have the ability to do the soft serve ice cream. If you're never going to do that, you can just get yourself a deluxe or something and save about $100. Anyway, let's say we were going to get some scoop ice cream. I would click on that button. Then we'll have all these different lights that will light up to tell us what options we have. If we go over to the soft serve side, you can see some of the lights go off and some of the other ones come on, except now we have fruit whip and frozen custard as well. Once you've run your cycle on your soft serve, you would end up taking the pint out, put it in here like I showed you a couple of minutes ago, open this up like that, and then we would just pull the lever to start dispensing like this. And while I'm holding this down, you can probably see this coming forward. That's the thing kind of just squishing it out like you got a tube of toothpaste or something. And once you let go, you can see that it backs it off just a tiny bit. That's kind of like a caulking gun if you've ever done any home repair stuff. Some of the nicer electric caulking guns will back off a little bit when you let go of the button. That way you don't still have stuff squirting out of here. So that's kind of cool. You can see that this is still part way into the pint. You probably wouldn't want to remove it from the machine that way. So what you end up doing is you use the retract button right here, and that puts it back in the park position for you. I'll tell you what, this is not very loud, at least the soft serve dispenser part isn't. I didn't break out my sound meter because what I'm gonna do now is run a couple of test ice creams. We're gonna do some scoop and we're gonna do some soft serve. When I bought the machine, I also ordered 2 extra creamy pints like these. That way, as soon as these things came in, I was able just to get these out of their own box, mix up some protein cookies and cream ice cream, and get them freezing. These are nowhere near frozen enough right now, but we're gonna wait a day and I'm gonna process one of these on Swirl and one of these on Scoop, just so you can see what kind of results we get. And then we can do a quick sound check as well. Hey, by the way, if this is your first time here and you want to learn some cool new recipes, get some great cooking tips and tricks and all sorts of other kitchen related things, then start now by subscribing to the channel and clicking the notification bell so you never miss a thing. Okay, it's been about 30 hours and here is what our pints look like. They both look about the same, and this looks like it's just about frozen enough. So first, we're gonna do some scoop ice cream. So we're gonna pop this lid off and we'll get our pitcher. Open this up, throw in our pint. Remember, with this new machine, these pints will only go in one way. The spigot has to kind of go in this section down here. You're gonna know that because if you try to put it in the wrong way, it ain't gonna go in. Now we'll put on the lid, lock it into place, throw this into our machine and lock it in. Since we're doing our scoop ice cream first, we want to hit the scoop button right here. And for me, I'm not going to use the Creami Fit button, I'm going to use the light ice cream button. It runs a little bit shorter and the ingredients I used is going to be a little bit closer to that. So let's start this up and see how it goes. Okay, looks like we're all done. And looking at this ice cream, woo, that's looking pretty darn good. Let's scoop it up. I need a spoon. Oh yeah, look at that. It's nice and creamy and smooth. And really, it's the same exact result I got out of the earlier Creamies. So as far as scoop ice cream goes, it's pretty much identical. You might be asking why I used the light ice cream setting for this instead of Creami Fit on the scoop. And that was because the Creami Fit runs a lot longer. And if I did that, it probably would have just turned this into soft serve. We're talking 4 minutes versus 6 minutes. Anyway, that'll work. All right, now for our second creamy pint to do our soft serve. Again, we'll put this on and lock it in, back into our machine. Okay, since we're doing soft serve, we want to start with the soft serve settings here. And since I am doing a protein ice cream, I suppose I'm going to use the Creami Fit button. Let's process this and see what happens. All right, let's see how this came out. Let's see what we got. Ooh. Wow, that looks pretty good. Since we're doing soft serve, that's where this lid right here comes in. So we're gonna throw this on. This will get outfitted right onto here. Gotta be sure to open this up. like so. And now we're gonna make some soft serve. These are pretty small cones, so I can't fit a whole lot on here, but that looks really good. And the taste? That's delicious. Let's try to do that again, except a little bit bigger in this thing. One thing about the machine is that the further you pull this lever down, the faster it comes out. So it's sort of a balancing act. It's something you gotta get used to. Let's try this again. How about that? That looks pretty good. It could be a little bit firmer, but I didn't give it quite enough time for this to freeze either. That's a little bit on me, but I kind of had to fast track this just a little bit. And then the texture on this is really, really good. I could probably eat this whole thing. I think I will. Let's see how this looks whenever I take this out. Nice and clean on the top here. Nice and clean on the inside of the machine, except right there on this lip. Not so bad. Also, as far as the sound meter test goes, it looks like they both kind of came in right about the same volume. The scoop ice cream seemed to be a little bit louder, but they both registered at about 80 decibels or so. So in any case, it's still a pretty loud machine. The Ninja Creami Swirl is definitely an upgrade from the original Ninja Creami machines. If you've seen my other Creami reviews, you know that I've never been a fan of Ninja's lack of innovation between their different models. It seems like Ninja pushed the envelope a little bit more with this one, but they did increase the price tag too. Looking forward to playing with this thing to find out just how much better it is. Over the next week or so, I'm going to be putting this through the test, and once I get enough information, I'll be back with a full product review. If you'd like a little bit more information about the Ninja Creami Swirl, I do have an Amazon affiliate link for it down in the description of the video. If you buy anything through those links, I do make a small commission, but it doesn't change the price that you pay. 1 cent. If you liked this video, you might like to see my review video right here for the Ninja Creami Deluxe. Up until now, that's been my favorite Creami model, and if you watch that video, you'll really be able to tell the differences between that one and this one. Well, that's it for now. I hope to see you back again here really soon, and until that time, I'm Joe, and I hope you have a phenomenal day. Take it easy.